Hello and welcome back. In this video we'll be looking at material registration. So let's log in. Okay, so remember in the previous video we talked about standing data, or something we call reference data as well, which is information that is actually consumed when you are doing a particular process. So the registration process, for example, will make reference to the districts, it will make reference to the freezers, it will make reference to the collection institutions and stuff like that, which means that the information you have in those listings for districts and the like is very vital. It must be up to date. Then let's now do a quick registration. So you go to the material register menu, then you click on registered material, and here we go ahead and say create new. So the system does suggest a register number. As much as possible you want to avoid changing this because it's already defined in the system to actually generate that register number. So unless you know exactly what you are doing and you require to change this number, you do well to actually leave it alone. So the drop down for districts is what we mentioned. So here you would have to pick a district, and I want to pick Lubumbashi, so I'll type LU, and there's Lubumbashi there. Harvest year is when was this material harvested, so we can easily say 2018. That is if 2018 is allowed to be a harvest year. The scientific name, I will use an example of Zea maize. The donor, the one who donated this material, could be a farm somewhere, so we just call it the green farm as an example. The green farm. The collection institution, in this case, is the research institution. Remember, this is something that we inputted as a reference entry. The depositor could be NBJRC, or if you have something in mind, you need to go and enter it as in the list of depositors. We can then pick our serial from the work groups, and we can say landress for the sample status. But you are experts at this. You pick what is right for your case. Received date. Let's give an example of which date will I pick. We received this on the 17th of February, and is the material accepted? We say yes. If you know, you need to give a comment as to why you didn't accept this material. Then what kind of storage media will this material be stored in? We pick a freezer. And is it available for public view or not? There's no harm in picking yes, and you say this material is present. Then under remarks, you can really put in anything. For example, like we could easily say okay, let's just say any remarks here, but whatever you feel are remarks that are critical, you can actually type them in there. When you are done filling in this form, you click save, and our registration is done. Now I want to show you something. If you log out of this system and log back in, how do you actually locate that record? So I'll log back in, and I'll select Congo again. As you can see, something has already happened on our dashboard here, that we have what we are now saying a material registration from Katanga province, and it's showing us a counter of 1, which means we have 1 register from Katanga province. So our dashboard is building up, guys. This is very important. So how do we locate our previous registration? You go to registered material, and if you've got one, you clearly see it right there. So we may ask the question, why do we have a 0 here and a 0 here? So this 0 here represents how many records you have as passport data, and the one in green represents how many accessions have actually been registered for this particular registration. If you want to make changes to this registration, you go on and click on view details. Then you can go to update a register, make any changes, for example, by saying to be duplicated to SPJRC, to be duplicated to SPJRC by 31st March 2020. So again, you pick your notes, and then we can save here, and you can see that it now reads to be duplicated to SPJRC by that date. So this concludes for the registration. Thank you very much. Let's continue on recording passport data. Thank you. See you then.